Hey everybody, it's Martin Lee Nelson here for the 12th hour once again. I'm here with Cyanca. Yo, we just heard it, what? New phone, who dis? What's that about? What's that about?
Well, I was living in Winston-Salem, broke as fuck. So, yeah, I think during that time, I wasn't even really an artist. That's the crazy thing. I was just kind of figuring that out. I was playing for churches, doing that whole thing. I grew up in the church, so.
Got you.
Um, yeah, just playing for churches and doing that. So I'm a musician first.
What do you play?
I play the keys, I play the organ, I play the drums, any percussion instrument basically.
Multifaceted.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I see you.
Yeah. So, I think I went through like a depression because of my finances and trying to figure out my identity in my mid-20s. So I linked up with this guy named LaFell. He's from Greensboro. I found him through like mutual friends. And I was like, yo, I got some beats I've been making. I wanna hit you. I wanna play these beats for you. So I played these beats and he was like, yo, you hard. Like, what you doing? I was like, I don't know. I'm just making beats in GarageBand. I don't know. So he was like, yo, I'm gonna send you some beats. I want you to get on them. So he sent me a new phone, who this beat? And I was like, this is crazy. So I sat on it for like 2 weeks and then it just came to me and it's crazy because at that time I was barely trying to figure out how to pay my rent and I was like, man, I need some money. And I was like, why am I going through this? I just need something to change, something to shift. So I wrote that song like a manifestation of okay, I need to change my environment. I need to strengthen my faith and get money and progress. So I wrote that song, yeah.
Yo, so that song was kind of like a transition song for you.
Absolutely.
You kind of found your artistry, found your identity in the art.
Absolutely.
Yo.
And I put the song out just to put it out, and it just started blowing on SoundCloud, and I'm like, what's going on? No marketing, none of that. I had probably 300 followers on Instagram at the time, and it just started booming on SoundCloud. And I was like, all right, let me make a project, I guess. And then after that, it just went up from there.
Yo, I liked your album cover for the Isle of Queens. It seems like a matriarch of women that were really influential in your life. So tell me a little bit more about the album cover and the women on that cover.
Man, it's a picture of my mom and her 3 best friends. And my mom was super popular in high school. She was that it girl. People to this day, I go home, they be like, yo, your mama was a gangster. She used to wear all black with the red lip. She used to sell weed. She was just
What?
She was that girl. She ran track, basketball, but she hustled on the side to get money. So when I finished the project, I was battling with what can I name? What was gonna be the cover? So my grandmother passed, which is her mom. And my grandmother raised me because my mom, I lost her at 2 years old to a drunk driver and my sibling. So I don't have any recollection of my mom except for people telling me or just pictures and stuff. So that happened. My grandmother passed and we had to clean her house up. So we're cleaning her house. I'm in the attic by myself. I'm going through boxes. And this is the same time where I'm trying to figure out what the cover is gonna be. I go through the box and here's that Polaroid picture.
Wow.
And I'm like, wow. And the project, I already named it Isle of Queens. So it was just manifestation.
Yeah,
I was like, this is crazy. And I've never seen that picture of my mom and her best friends before. And it was just so symbolic.
Do you feel like you're continuing her legacy?
Absolutely. I feel like I'm her and reincarnated.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah, because everything, even from the music I've heard from you, it's you have a hustler mentality.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? You're I heard the PB&J, New Phone Who Did. It's all about, look, I came from the gutter and I get it by the mud.
Absolutely. My family definitely came from the gutter. My family's always been hustling. My grandfather, he was an architecture and he used to have bags of money in the basement. back then they ain't really care about reporting their money to the IRS. They was like on some, we gonna finesse these niggas. So he used to have. I remember when I was a kid, I used to go down there and try to steal money. And getting my friends, like, I was like, how money? I bring like a whole bunch of dollars and stuff to school, and he'll whoop my tail like, man, that's my stash. So, yeah, I've always came from a family of hustling, survival of the fittest, like, yeah.
So, this next question is gonna be kind of in line with what you just said. You hustle for money, but what if money didn't exist? What would you do?
Man.
What would you do if money didn't exist?
That's a deep ass question. I don't know. I think the hustle for me is not centered around money. It's the survivor of fittest, because it's in me. Like being raised by my grandparents, like even though we were all about the dollar, we made it work, like survival with nothing. Like when my grandfather didn't have work during the winter, he had to go hunt to feed us. Like we was eating rabbit, we was eating deers and shit. Like
that's some country ass shit.
Some country shit. We had when the dryer wasn't working, or the washing machine, my grandmother washed them clothes and she put them on a clothesline outside. So I figured, like, if I didn't have money, I feel like I would figure it out. Like I can definitely tap into my survivor skills.
So okay, what would you do with your time? More specific.
I would travel more.
Okay.
For sure.
Yeah.
Definitely travel.
There's so much perspective in traveling.
It is, man. I've been to Asia, and it's still blowing my mind to this day of how appreciative they are. And it really changed my perspective of people. Seeing people in, like, I wouldn't say poverty, but not having as much opportunity and resources as America.
Yeah.
It really changed my perspective. Like, man, we really got it made over here, and they just working with nothing and be the most happiest people.
Right, we take a lot for granted, for sure. I want to ask you a question. We talked, last time I saw you, and what is something that people don't know about you through your music?
A lot. It's so much, and I beat myself up because I have not shown as much as myself to people, but that's something I'm working on.
Okay.
So a lot of people don't know that, I've been in the light all my life, but from a different perspective. Like, I played sports. I played basketball. I ran track. I got 2 state rings in track. I was offered plenty of scholarships to run track out of my high school, but I was so burnt out. Like, I didn't want to run no more. Like, I hated practice. I'm like Allen Iverson. I don't want to fucking practice. That's one thing people don't know. So I have boxes of newspaper clippings. I mean, it's crazy. I have 50 or hundreds of trophies, like from like rewards that we won back in the day. So that's something people may not know about me. Like, I've always been in the light, but I just basically transferred it from sports to like music. And probably something else people don't know, I'm partially deaf. I lost my hearing back in like 50% of my hearing back in like 2014, and I got tinnitus. So like, I really don't like to be in like loud settings like that a lot. I don't really club and all that, cause it's painful.
But you still turn up though.
Yeah, I turn up. in small settings. So
yeah, no doubt. So what is something that you want to tell your audience, to tell your listeners, to tell the other like-minded hustlers? What message would you want to give to them?
Man, stay humble, stay grounded in who you are. Never lose sight of where you came from. So as much as, I don't know, I feel like my upbringing taught me so much about the sacrifice and seeing my grandparents were born from the 30s. And, that was a huge generation gap for me, trying to raise as a millennial. You have someone from the 30s trying to raise a millennial. So if anything, I just tell people to like stay true to yourself. No matter how big you get, wherever you go, show some part of home in you. Let that pour out in anything you do. So,
one last question. You want to race for the cash?
What's up?
No, I'm just playing. I'm just playing. But hey, thank you guys again for tuning into the 12th hour. Hey, let everybody know where they can find you.
You can find me on all social platforms. That's Instagram is CYANCA. Facebook, same thing. Twitter, CYANCA.is. Cyanca is. I'll be on TikTok a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Trying to do
Get
a little
lit.
stuff. But yeah, that's where you can find me. All my music is on every streaming platform. It's on Apple Music, Spotify, Tidal, Pandora, Google Play, Deezer.
Hey, y'all tap in. Y'all tap in. And thank you guys for joining. Peace.